In this video, I want to show you how to make a default looking column chart like this into a more professionally done. Why do I say it's more professionally done? If you look at the makeover chart, the column chart, you will notice that visually we can identify which are the months above target and which are the months below target easily. And it looks clean and neat. And most important, if you see the x-axis, I have two layers to segregate the month and the year so that it doesn't look messy, right? So let's learn how to create such column chart. You have the data set in the Excel file. What we need to do is to select all the cells and go to Insert 2D Column Chart, and you will have it like this. If you notice that if I make the chart smaller, the x-axis labels got slanted, it is because it has not enough space to fit the label. And more so is if you look at the x-axis, there are a lot of duplications of words, which is the year, see 19, 20, 20 is all repeated. So we try to reduce repetitions in the chart. So in order to do that, let's leverage on the multi-level axis. How to do that? Of course, you need to tidy up the data set. First, I need to have another column just for the year. I will include the year for the start of the month in the data set. And then for the month, I just change it to month instead of including year together. And notice that now the x-axis has the month. So in order to include the year in the multi-level axis, you just right click on the chart, select data, and you have this dialog box open up. In the horizontal axis labels, click on edit, and it will allow us to select the label range again. So here is where you select from 2019 all the way to June with both columns together, and just click OK. And OK, you will notice that the multi-level axis has created. Sometimes you might not see the year exactly in between or in the middle of the month. What you can do is that you right click, format axis, inside the labels, you will notice is multi-level category labels. It must check. If it's unchecked, you will notice that the year is not in the middle or in the center. So check it all the time so that it looks clean and neat. So what else to do for a column chart like this is to make sure the columns, the shape of this column is it should look a bit thicker. Best practice is the thickness of this column should be, larger than the gap, the white color gaps over here. So in order to adjust to the thickness, you just right click on the chart, the column, and go to format data series, and you will notice this gap width. Reduce the width percentage to roughly about 50 to 60% rule of thumb. 50% it becomes thicker. Okay, so that is how we increase the thickness for the column. So the next thing is that sometimes it's a bit stressful if I want to know what is the value for April, and then I need to travel my eye to the y-axis to get the numbers, and then I need to get back and forth to get the value. So that is not good. So I suggest to put the data labels right on top of those columns, right? How it goes is you just click the plus sign, add data labels, and all the labels is on top. So once I have all the data labels shown, what I can do is to delete the y-axis because it has redundant. Just hit delete, and once you delete the y-axis, delete also the grid lines because it goes together most of the time. So now it looks okay. The only thing is that this chart, it looks clean, but what is the message that I want to bring out? So remember, our objective is to let our audience see which are the months above target and which are the months below target. So what I need to do is to include a target line into the chart. Normally what people might do, they just draw a line. But if I want to build it together in the chart, this is how it goes, right? So just add a target column in the data set. Let's say the target is 30 throughout all the months. I just drag it over. So to include this target into the chart, I just click on the chart and you'll notice that the cells has been selected and there is one dot here. I just click on this dot and drag it over and it will include the target set into the chart. But I want it to be in a line instead of a column. So what I will do is that I click on the orange color column, right click, change series chart type, and you'll notice that I have a selections in the target to change it to line. And I click on line and click OK, you'll notice that it become a line. So I don't want the labels to be repeated because it's useless to have all the 30 all over the place. Just click and delete the labels and just remain the lines. And perhaps tidy the line a bit, not so thick, and then the color, make it to a more subtle color. Click on the line, right click, you will see this outline. Click on it and change it to gray color, a bit subtle. Repeat it again, right click, outline, and you notice that weight. The weight is to change the thickness. So I make it to 1 point and you will see it's a bit thin. So let's say I want to include the target numbers at the end so that people know what is the target value. So just click one time and you'll see that all the dots being selected. Click a second time, it's only selecting the last point. And then now only you right click and click on add data labels, you will notice that 30 is included. So let's say if I want to include the word target inside here, what I can do is I click one time, click two times, click three times, and you'll notice that the cursor is blinking in front of this data label. What I will do, sometimes it's blink at back or sometimes it's blink in front. If you want it to be at the front, you just press home and you see that the cursor will be at the front. So you just type target and you will include some words in together with the labels. Right, so I just click outside and I have included it. But the problem is that the label is overlapping on the chart. I need some space over here. What I can do is that click on the chart and you'll notice that there are two boundaries, one outer boundary, another one inner boundary. What you can do is that click on this white color dot and drag the inner boundary a bit more smaller and you'll see that it can fit the target nicely. Right, if you want this target 30 to be more smaller, you just click on this one and adjust, go to home and adjust the size to make it smaller, and perhaps maybe make this chart bigger again so that it fits nicely. So now I have the target line, I have the bar or the column ready and multi-level axis. The next thing I want to tweak is the color so that people can see it clearly to identify above target and below target. So what I will do is that I will change the color to make some contrast. First thing, maybe I click on the bar and every column is being selected. I go to format and change all shape fill to a bit darker color. Then only I choose those that is below target. Let's say the November and February. I just click one time, click two times on that column and only selecting this column. And then I go to change it to a more lighter color. Same thing for February, change it to lighter color. So with this, you see that I have created a chart, maybe make it a bit bigger again. So I've created a chart that is visually showing the message which are the months above target and which are the months that are below target. And the axis also clean enough to segregate the month and the year. And I have the target number to let people see that what are the target value for this particular chart. So yep, now it's your turn to try it out, see whether you get the steps right or not. If you can't, just pause wherever that you think you need to practice, and you can rewind or replay it back just in case you miss out some of the steps. Go ahead and create this chart.